Hi, you gorgeous Pisces people. Happy birthday. We are in Pisces season for the February Pisces, sending you so much love. And here we are in the March portion of your season. In a month that is quite transformational, very powerful. No surprise there. I feel like every March with that Piscean energy comes with that sense of transformation, with that sense of growth and change and shift. And you know, this March particularly has this potency to it because I'm sure you all are already feeling that Chiron is now in Aries, and that phase, that time, that learning curve that you were working with for several years has shifted. And where you're feeling challenge, where you're feeling shift, where you're feeling movement is different. Chiron and Aries in your neighboring sign like that is highlighting a different aspect of healing. Because that's the thing, Chiron's always working with us. No matter where he is, we're always working on embracing the process, embracing the medicine within our bones, embracing the medicine within our experience. And it's so important that we don't fight against it. However, it is nice when you have this shift out of your sign. So that's the first thing that came to mind when I thought of you guys this month, was that shift. Also, you know, this Uranus shift into Taurus is happening this month on the 6th of March, and that's shifting into a different part of your world as well, into that third house energy of how you communicate, how you move through the world in those short-term ways, you know, day to day, communicating, talking, sharing your vision. So there's revolution going on there for you. Now, I have a lot of notes for you all. One of the big things that's happening, you have a new moon in your sign on the 5th, right before Uranus heads into Taurus for good until 2026. You have this beautiful, oh, actually, no, the new moon's happening the same day, the 6th. So on the 6th, we're having this transformative portal. So for you, you're going to be feeling it personally. And a lot of it has to do with reinventing your personal narrative. And it has to do with slowing down and listening in. I mean, because the other thing that's going on is we have Mercury retrograde beginning in your sign on the 5th and going until the 28th. So most of the month, you will be noticing that you are working through Six of Swords. Makes a lot of sense for Pisces right now. You'll be going through reassessment. And the magic of this month isn't in the exuberant. It isn't in the externalized. Eight of Cups. Wow, you guys got the two traveler cards. I always call these the traveler cards because when you look at the figures, the woman and the child and then the man there, they have all turned their backs on who they've been, what they've been experiencing, what they've been working on. And they are going toward landscapes that they don't totally understand yet or know yet or can see yet. You know, I talk about the unimaginable horizon sometimes in my readings, and these cards represent that. It's that willingness to look ahead to a horizon, to a landscape that you aren't familiar with yet, and to be willing to embrace it. And be curious about what you can be and what you can become when you are no longer holding the weight of something that isn't serving you. So you're getting a pretty strong message there. Once again, you have that new moon in your sign and you have Mercury retrograde in your sign, and that does cause this kind of reassessment energy. And it doesn't have to be big and dramatic, but it is about transforming how you're seeing yourself, how you're seeing your superpowers, how you're seeing your mission in life. Page of Wands popped up. Of course, we are going to be shifting into Aries season on the 20th of the month. And with that comes this full moon in Libra, which, yeah, I mean, full moon in Libra for you is this transformative, potent energy, and it's a 0-degree full moon in Libra. The sun. Wow. So you are getting this full moon just pointing at you. Speaking of transformation, you guys, like that sense of identity is just different. Six of Cups. I'm looking at my note for you because I did write up a whole big note. the note, okay, so any old narratives are moving, and Mercury retrograde is helping you heal, helping you check in, helping you listen to these larger shifts that are going to go on for the next 7 or 8 years. Ace of Pentacles. And what I'm noticing is if you are willing to do these check-ins right off the bat, 7 of Cups, very Mercury in Pisces. Here we go. Mercury retrograde in Pisces as well. If you're willing to do these check-ins, if you're willing to slow down and just listen in, you will get rewards very quickly. You will get answers very quickly. Now, I feel like this is already something that you guys understand. So I'm not the Lovers. Whoa, okay. Speaking of rewards very quickly, so I'm not so concerned. I don't really have to tell you that that's a way to be present with the process and to know what you need to know, because you already have that intuitive guidance system is so strong with y'all that you can really check in. And there you guys are, High Priestess. Very nice. Okay, so actually, you know, when I was writing your notes, the note was start and stop and start. Start and stop and start. And I really think that is so true. You know, the new moon in your sign is like, let's go. All roads are open. And then Mercury retrograde in your sign is like, wait, like, let's slow down and check in. And then the Uranus shift is like, let's go. Let's like explore this new territory. And yet then we have this Chiron, we're settling into that. And so there's a lot of, you know, just like moving back and forth. So, okay. Let's talk about these two right here. So like I was telling you, these are what I call the traveler cards. These cards represent a transformation. They represent leaving something behind. So I'm noticing already, Pisces, there's some version of yourself or some aspect of your life that you've been kind of holding on to. And I think leading up to your birthday season, leading up to this time of reflection and internalization where you're checking in with your energy, you've been maybe holding on to it a little bit. You've been a little nervous to let it go. You've been a little nervous that if you let go, even if it's just an idea of yourself that you're letting go of, that if you let it go, you're going to be free falling through space and time. And there won't be anything to catch you on the other side. You know, there won't be anything to catch. But the thing that's always funny is it's like, unless you make the space for the next thing you want to be or do, it can't arrive. It really literally cannot arrive. So if you're holding on to that project that does not feel fulfilling for you, that does not feel good for you, or that old relationship or that old person that you love, even if it's just in your mind, you're not holding space for the next thing. And so there is kind of, this is very much about the in-between stage where you've just gotten rid of the thing, you've just made the space and there's nothing in that space. And you have to be good with that space for just a moment before the right things comes in. So there's this transitional energy working with you, and it's pretty strong. And it can feel a little bit intimidating. Sometimes this can feel raw, almost like you've left home. You know, you've left home and you're on the road and you're feeling a little homesick. It's that feeling can come up with this shift, but you're being asked to do it. There's something that is not serving you guys. And it's really clear to me when I'm looking at this reading that is just, it's got to go. Like everything in your body, everything in your system is telling you what this is. You know exactly what it is, even as I'm talking to you right now. But look what happens immediately if you create that space for it. And a lot of times it just comes from, you know, sitting quietly one day, just something clicks and it makes sense, or some powerful dreams can be enough to create the space and the energetic frequency to invite in that next thing that we want. And here it is. And here's what I'm noticing. There needs to be space for there to be playfulness, kindness, laughter, curiosity. These are such fun, loving energies, and they're very curious and buoyant. Now, it's a lot of fiery energy, which is really interesting. Of course, we will be hitting into Aries season a few weeks into the month, and that shift from Pisces to Aries is always really powerful. We all feel it. You guys, those two signs hold this special place in our collective consciousness because of the death and rebirth, because of that shift out of energy. But you are being asked to look at what feels playful, what feels light, what feels encouraging. You know, this kid on the horse is just having a beautiful time in his life. He is not concerned about the outcomes. He's not concerned about safety nets all the time. He wants to find out what happens when he puts himself into these situations, right? It's the inner child energy. That is what the sun is really speaking to. The inner child that would play for hours outside and not even think about anything else. And the same with the Page of Wands. There's this eagerness, right? The Page of Wands is this new guy in his job. He's ready to do his job. He's ready to show up. He's excited. He's got his new outfit on, his new way of being in the world. There's this eagerness, this excitement, this almost novice energy. And it makes me think that you guys are starting in on some kind of new energetic chapter that's very exciting for you. However, some of you may not experience this if you are unwilling to let go of whatever is behind you here. The Mercury retrograde, I think, will help with that because it softens and slows everything down to check in. Now, one of the things you are going to be checking in on is the Six of Cups. Past love, right? Past versions of love, past lovers, past nostalgic ways you've thought of love is getting a revamp. Pretty profoundly. Now, of course, the Six of Cups is a romantic energy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, the sweetness of that youthful love is such an amazing gift. And we should always honor it because it has its own special quality to it. And we can envisage this and embody this at any point in our lives, right? It's such powerful medicine, and we do need the youthful hope of Six of Cups in our life. However, a lot of times what this comes with is that kind of feeling that this was the best. The good old days, right? The good old days are behind us and nothing will ever be as good again. And that can hold us in these repetitive cycles. And that's one of the things I'm noticing with you guys is there's almost this desire to return to repetitive cycles. There's almost this desire to relive something over and over again. And yet you're at this pitch point where it's like, if you keep doing that, if you keep reliving it, you really will just keep reliving it. And if you're wondering why it feels like nothing's ever changing, there's a reason for that. So maybe it's that you are hitting up against this, but you're being invited to something so different. And I think one of the things to keep in mind is the potential of a situation. And of course, we don't want to just fall in love with potential. And that's possible sometimes for us to do, but when I look at these three cards in a sequence, Ace of Pentacles, Seven of Cups, and the Lovers, what I'm seeing there is the possibility of dreaming and our emotional state bringing us exactly what we need and want, and trusting in that emotional state. Now here's where that start and stop and start energy that I was talking about comes into play. Because the Ace of Pentacles is like, here's an infusion of energy, here's an infusion of wealth, here's an infusion of a real world situation that can take you from point A to point B, and it's so exciting, and let's do it, and can't wait, let's go. And then we get into Seven of Cups, which is like, oh wait, let's assess, which cups do I really want to pick up? Which parts of my life do I really want to pick up? Because that's what the Seven of Cups is all about. We go into the energetic, emotional realm, and we're able to float up there and pick up each of these cups and simulate emotionally what each of them feels like. So what I'm feeling for you guys is you have some decisions to make this month, and you're going to be thinking through some situations that have been holding you. And one of the beautiful things about Seven of Cups energy is you can take that time out for yourself and go through the simulations emotionally of if you pick up this cup. The game that I call this is the Magic Wand game. So the Magic Wand game, you get really imaginative, sit somewhere comfy where nobody can bother you and let yourself imagine getting everything that you're asking for. Let's say it will show up in 5 minutes and it will be there and it'll be exactly what you asked for, and you're going to have to live it. You will find out very quickly, so let yourself feel that feeling. That person you think you want to date, or that house you want to live in, or that job you want to have. If you get the yes phone call, if you get the person showing up, you get that okay to invest your money or time in it. What does it feel like in saying yes? Because you'll find out very quickly the things that actually, if they were really going to show up at your door in 5 minutes, fills you with a sense of dread and worry. and the things that maybe make you a little anxious but nervous but excited. And that is really important for you to do this month. Once again, Mercury retrograde in your sign. This is a fantastic time to integrate this. It's a fantastic time to check in on yourself and your system and your emotions and what is really serving you. Which cup do you want to pick up? Because you want to be aware of which cups you're picking up. When you have the Lovers coming in, this is such a dual energy. Because on the one hand, it's about partnership, it's about love, it's about seeing another person, it's about being in relationships where there's equality and parity and support and emotional support and all this beautiful stuff, right? On the other hand, this can be about karmic ties. This can be about repetition. This can be about sticking something out forever and ever, right? And that's what we're trying to parse out here. What is the beautiful aspect of this? What is working for you? And what is repetition? Because sometimes those two categories can get very intertwined and we get extremely confused about which is which. And that's where that checking in is going to be so valuable to you. And by the time we hit that Libra full moon and we're getting into Aries season and Mars hits into Gemini at the very end of the month and we start to get some of this traction under our feet with these new transits and Mercury going direct as well, you'll have your answers. Now, the High Priestess is your overarching energy for the month, and she is here to remind you that your intuition is correct. If you're having physical and emotional reactions to things that you know you don't want anymore, that are not serving you anymore, listen to it. Because it's funny that she's coming out at the end of the conversation. It's one of those things where you will feel it at the beginning of the month, you will know it at the beginning of the month, and you cannot do anything about it. You can take your time. It is a time of integration going on here. It is a time of checking in, absolutely. But you'll find that if you don't shift, if you don't start getting your head and your emotions wrapped around the shift, that you will feel the exact same way you did at the beginning of the month, at the end of the month. And you'll wonder why you didn't just invest that time and that thought process into releasing. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I think it's a beautiful reading. It's this beautiful transmutation energy. It's this alchemy energy that is very much about, I think, your Piscean ability to transform and transmute. You have this powerful energy position within the wheel of the year that is so much about our different levels of consciousness, our different levels of showing up in the world, and your ability to transform and morph through all of those is so powerful. So use it to your advantage, absolutely. But it is a time to release and let go. And sometimes our birthdays can be that way. You know, birthdays are a time of celebration and excitement. And there seems to be deep love and commitment and creativity going on here. But it's also a time of culmination, of closeout, of reflection, of trusting in what we need. And I just get this sense you guys need to make space for some things in your life. I just get that sense. It's really strong. Okay, I'm going to close it out there. You can book private sessions with me. I'm booking a few months in advance, so when you go to my calendar on my website, SARAHTAROT.com, you will have to click forward a little bit before you hit on a date. I would love to work with you, and it's great to just plan ahead, and then you have it in your calendar. It's something fun to look forward to in June and July, so I would highly recommend that. I'm also going to tell you about a couple of my dearest friends, because one thing that really matters to me is sharing what my friends do in the world. That's why I talk about them. And one of those friends is my dear friend PinkLune and her gorgeous handmade jewelry that she does, one-woman show, 15% off as usual. I wear her stuff every day of my life. It is the best feeling to have her nurturing energy on my body. It's a weird way of putting it, but it's true. And then also I want to tell you about my friend Taylor, who does amazing work with social media. She's really well versed in it, and she's doing one-on-one coaching sessions to help people who are feeling maybe a little overwhelmed with like their branding or using social media, and finding strategy and ways to incorporate it. So if you're somebody who has like a small business, or you have something that you're working on and you want to figure out ways to share it, she's a fantastic resource, and she is booking one-on-one sessions. So I will leave her Instagram and her website below, so go check her out if you're looking for that type of guide in your life. She's amazing for that. So I'm happy to just share with you about my friends. Of course, we will be doing readings in the full moons for March, so check those out because you will have a new moon in your sign very soon. And there will be travel, there'll be workshops. You're going to want to follow me on Instagram at Sarah Verba. I did switch my handle just recently to my name, so I'll leave that below as well just so that you have a reference for it, but you can find me there. I'm sending you guys so much love. Have a beautiful March 2019, a beautiful birthday season. I'm really enjoying the flowy, watery feel of this time, and I love you guys so much. Thanks for sitting with me today.